On tonight's show, Stone Cold Steve Austin yelled at anyone and everyone in sight, from the Alliance to Kurt Angle to Deborah to the crowd, the janitorial crew, the concession crew, hell, even the DK crew. And also we got to see a backstage segment where The Rock was going to offer his piping hot rock hard strudel to Lillian Garcia, but then pulled back said piping hot rock hard strudel because he realized Lillian should at least buy him dinner first before he offers up his piping hot rock hard strudel. I'm John Rentham with the Retro Review of WWE Smackdown from September 4, 2001. Staying in the Air Canada Centre from Toronto, Canada. And yeah, it's been so long since they were there, you know, a whole goddamn day, because this is a live Smackdown on UPN. What did UPN stand for? Ultimate Pounding Network? That would have fit with the whole Smackdown theme and Rock's rock hard piping hot strudel. So anyway, I've said so much piping hot strudel now that it's probably on your mind. I know it's always on my mind. But anyway, this was a pretty entertaining show. The invasion angle is a fucking misfire, as I've said during, you know, so many of these reviews since I started reviewing it at King of the Ring 2001. And we're going towards Unforgiven 2001. And then off in the middle distance is Survivor Series 2001. And then the following Raw, where Ric Flair becomes a 50-50 partner with Vince McMahon. And I might review the rest of 2001 because there was some entertaining stuff, including Booker T getting beat up in the supermarket, which was entertaining and also more of an indication that Vince McMahon was just going to beat the shit out of Booker T and see if he can make him quit. Because I really don't understand why Booker T kept getting the short end of the stick for so goddamn long, but at least he won at Mania 19. Oh, wait, he didn't, because according to Triple H, someone like you will never be champion. But Bruce Pritchard, that red-faced motherfucking hillbilly, said that it wasn't a racist storyline, and he deserves to be slapped for lying. He will go to hell for lying. So, as for the show, recaps of the Austin and Angle saga, including Angle threatening to throw Austin off a bridge, and then throwing him in a kiddie pool on the bridge. I guess those just magically appear in Canada. I don't know much about Canadian geography, but it would make as much sense as anything else that I know about the country. So we have the Hardys with Lita against Raven and Just Incredible with Terry. Alright, well, it was fine. The women got involved early. The match was alright. Jeff nearly crashes and burns doing a dive outside. We get a melee, twist of fate, and then a swanton 1, 2, 3. And then Lita hits Terry with a twist of fate, because why the fuck not? And then Austin doesn't know if he can face the Alliance. Well, they're quiet because, you know, they saw their leader, you know, basically beg for his goddamn life. To be fair, though, I mean, Austin kind of had a point. Yeah, he had, you know, thrown Kurt Angle's medals off the goddamn bridge and had done all this shit, but you kind of would beg for your life, too, if you thought that somebody was going to, you know, kill you. He's like, I begged to save all of you. I did it for everybody. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. Rikishi, what are you even doing here? Get the hell out of here. Then Austin beats up Chavo because he was late. Okay, why the hell not? So here's Christian to explain why he did what he did, why he hit Edge with the chair in the head and then did a one-man concerto. He says that last night was the greatest moment of his life, or the greatest day of his life, because he became a U.S. citizen. Shout out to one of my friends that became a U.S. citizen recently. You know who you are. I doubt you're watching this review, since I don't think you watch the Invasion Angle, but congratulations to you. I knew you could do it. So anyway, we get asshole chants and how people thought he became jealous and that they were right. It was Edge who was jealous, though. And then he goes on a tirade. What makes you so special? Why was it Edge and Christian? Why wasn't it Christian and Edge? You're all so damn selfish. I don't need you, Edge. I never need you. But you have something. You don't have something I want, but you have something I need. You got what I want and what I need. I mean, he might as well just broke out into the song there. He wants the Intercontinental Championship and will get it at Unforgiven and then lose it back at No Mercy 2001 in a pretty good ladder match. Then Austin gets hot coffee from Sean Stasiak, burns his mouth, tosses a hot coffee on him so we get boiling hot meat, because why the hell not, and beats him up. Then says, Deborah, call the paramedic. She's like, I don't think he's beat up that bad. No, for me, I think I burned my damn mouth. And then Steven Richards blames Taker and the fans for RTC disbanding. Nah, it's just that the gimmick was kind of shit and that Steven Richards is a fucking crackpot. So, it's going to be this match. It's going to be Steven Richards against The Undertaker. Well, Richards just, you know, decides to run and grab a chair. Smart, because he's Steven Richards, and The Undertaker is way up here. And in fact, I think it was actually even more. I think Steven Richards is all the way down there, about 20 feet under where his career belongs. So anyway, here's suddenly Bryan Adams, one half of Chronic. It's either Craw or Nick. And he kicks over the motorcycle. Oh no, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. You met with a terrible fate, haven't you? But it's Undertaker that met with a terrible fate. Because the former Adam Bomb and former Wrath, a.k.a. Brian Clark, a.k.a. the other half of Chronic, either, again, Craw or Nick, decide to lay out Undertaker, hit him with high time, and this would lead to the match at, oh God, the match at Unforgiven 2001, where Chronic basically, worked themselves into a shoot and they dumbed themselves right out of position, as Ernie Ladd would say. So, yeah, Regal then is visited by Shane and Booker about The Rock's opponent for Unforgiven. He says, well, even though Rock is under a WWF contract, yes, I go back and forth with WWF and WWE. Once again, I must mention, my sister painted this logo on a shirt, and I fucking love it. It's a treasured possession. She knows how much of a wrestling fan I am. So, it's going to be both of them against The Rock, because the WCW title falls under Shane McMahon's jurisdiction. And then Deborah knocks the crowd, calling them a whole bunch of foreigners. I mean, technically not wrong, but really? Really, Deborah? You of all people are going to be knocking people when you're lucky that you ever got into wrestling? And then Austin says that Austin needs to go talk to them. Then we get Test versus Billy Gunn, because this was a match they felt should happen in 2001. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't bad. It was just there. Could have been on Heat. Big boot, 1, 2, 3. It was after a number of minutes of action that certainly existed. So then Deborah encourages Austin again, so he goes to the ring and they lay into him. He calls them foreigners, saying that they're all bloodthirsty and everything, and that how the fans were last night. I can't believe the mentality of the Canadian race. Apparently, is Canadian just one race? Is it like one race to rule them all, one race to bind them, one race to bring them all, and the other to bind them? I actually don't know how the fucking saying goes. I probably fucked that shit up. But anyway, more what chance, and then Kurt was like an animal, and then now cue the 9 Inch Nails song. Hopefully not. Stone Cold will not be chained, blindfolded, or tied down, or beaten at Unforgiven. My goodness, what kind of wrestling is this? And then here's Angle. I don't care, whether you forgive me or not. And then he replays what he did to Austin and says, are you the rattlesnake or the waddlesnake? Which was kind of funny. And then Austin, I had so much fun with you last night. Going back to the chain, blindfolded, and tied down thing, my goodness, this feud was a little bit weird. So then says, you'll see a side of me that you've never seen at Unforgiven. You'll see how stone cold I can be. Then Austin yells at the Alliance about Angle and says he's going to whip some ass. The next person that comes through that door, he is going to whip their ass. And then this takes about 20 years because apparently nobody else walked through the goddamn door. We cut to Rock, talking about his handicap match, and said, Lillian, when did you become so business? Why don't you ask me how The Rock's breakfast was? How was your day, Rock, and everything? And she's trying not to crack, and Rock's trying not to crack during this. Lillian, The Rock knows that you have feelings for him. The Rock knows that when you go out there to the ring, you think about, The Rock looking at you, that you dream of becoming Lillian Roxia. And god damn, this was so good. It was, in hindsight, it would have been uncomfortable, except The Rock made it work because it was entertaining. And Lillian's hot as hell. I mean, let's be honest. Admit it, Lillian, you get wet. Oh, the crowd goes with perspiration, thinking about so fucking good. And said, now Lillian, The Rock knows how you feel about pie. Hey now. It's like, but how do you feel about strudel? Lillian, would you like to try some of The Rock's strudel? And she says more than anything in the world, Rock. He's like, what in the blue hell is wrong with you? The Rock's trying to, The Rock, has a big handicap match here, and all you can think about is dessert. A little professionalism, Lillian Garcia, please. And she's like trying to play shh, and he doesn't. And the camera doesn't cut away quick enough because The Rock smiled, but you could tell he's cracking, and they had to cut away. And then he says, it was like Booker and Shane are going to face off against The Rock or whatever. Why don't you just have a baby? Little Booker Mac, can you dig it, sucker? And he does a little dance thing. This is when Rock was just absolutely on fire, which was very uncomfortable. How a rock gets lit on fire, I don't know. Physics. So then, Lillian, stop thinking about the people's strudel. So bad. It's so bad, but it's so fun. This was worth rewatching this episode. Anyway, we cut to the Alliance in Austin. Loud RVD chants, and he's at the door. RVD apparently forgetting how door handles work. So there we go. It's going to be Austin versus RVD later. And then we have the Hurricane knocking Toronto, saying, well, you do have Vince Carter, who can fly, but he's not a superhero. And we have an open challenge for the European Championship. It's the Big Show versus Hurricane. Doesn't last long. Big Show beats shit out of him. Lance Storm attacks Big Show to cause a DQ. And this is going to form a quick alliance in the alliance with Hurricane. Pretty entertaining tag team. Didn't last very long. And then Big Show hits a double chokeslam. Thanks for coming, guys. Gross. So stand back, there is a hurricane coming through. APA, Rock and Jericho versus Dudley's, Booker, Rhino with Shane. Jumpstart to Melee, you screwed Brett Chance because Earl Hebner is the referee, and Canadians do not forget. And then Booker was pounding Dwayne's Rock Hard Johnson while Lillian kept dreaming about the people's strudel. And then everybody get in here. Shane got brought in, the walls got locked on him, but Rhino hits the gore, 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 and Booker covers 1, 2, 3. And there you go. So Hardcore Holly is in WWF New York. He calls himself the Big Shot and wants to fight. He doesn't care who he has to face. And then we have the casting call for Tough Enough 2. You go to toughenough.com and you can figure that out. Oh, well, about that, I think you missed it by a little bit. So Austin and RVD are backstage. He's cool with facing Austin. He's like, tonight, your name is Kurt Angle. It's like, well, that's cool, but I'm not Kurt. I'm Rob Van Dam. And Austin then yells at Deborah. That's all Austin ever did to Deborah. Oh, about that. RVD versus Austin, non-title. Austin just gloms RVD. RVD gets in a few bits of offense, but there really isn't all that much because he attacks him early, attacks him often. Did hit a big superplex. RVD did try to come back. Did hit a spin kick when Austin brought a chair in. And missed the 5-star frog splash. Austin hits a stunner, goes for 3. Oh no. He gets up and he locks on the ankle lock. But then Kurt Angle's music and pyro goes off. And this distracts Austin enough for RVD to hit the most devastating maneuver in all of professional wrestling. The surprise roll up 1, 2, 3. And then Angle shows up and is laughing because RVD pinned Austin. And that was it. So yeah, now we move on to the September 10th edition of Raw. And oh boy. And then the following Smackdown. It took place on the 13th of September in Stephanie McMahon's speech. Oh boy. Oh boy. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.